Hello, YouTube. I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney. On this channel, we answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answer they need from an employment attorney. Excuse me. We have a question from YouTube user Bart-Ender, whose username I assume is actually a clever way of saying bartender. As you know, I was never actually a bartender. I worked as a bouncer for about a decade. I did not have the social skills. I was not cool enough to actually make bartender. That was never in the cards for me. However, let me recommend the Angry Bartender accounts on social media. That individual is very funny, and highly recommend. And I believe that individual's tagline, the Angry Bartender's tagline, is "Stay angry," which, if we're being honest, is better than mine. Mine being almost everybody works, but not everybody wins. So stay smart. Be smart out there. Why can't I say my own catchphrase? Why can't I? What's wrong with me? YouTube user Bart Ender says, or asks us, first off, love the content. Found you yesterday. Welcome aboard. Glad you like the content. Makes me happy. Question: what steps should an employee take if an employer refuses to pay an agreed upon bonus? Pause. Right there. Let's stop and answer that part of the question. There's more, but let's stop right there. Immediately, I need you to think about how the bonus was agreed upon. Was it in writing? Was it not in writing? If it was in writing, you need to gather every piece of documentation related to that written bonus. If it was not in writing, we need you to think about every witness who was present to that agreement, that verbal agreement. If you're telling me it wasn't written and it wasn't verbally stated, then right off the bat, I've got questions. Agreed upon how? By what means? Sign language? Hieroglyphs? Cuneiform? Like what are we talking about here? Like what? I mean, even then, those last two would be written, right? So like it, remember, there's no such thing as like an implied bonus. Generally speaking, that's not a hardline rule. Like I guess I could cook up in some jurisdictions a theory of how that might come about, but realistically speaking, like, not to quote It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but like, you can't have an implication of a bonus, right? Oh yeah, we were working together, but it was under the implication that I get a bonus. What does that mean? What are you talking about? And Bart Ender, I'm not saying this is what you're doing. This is just a general pause to be like, hey, how was this agreement set out? Gather all of that, jot it all down. That's the first piece of your package. Question continues. Is there a minimum amount that the bonus would need to be in order to justify hiring an attorney? Listen, different attorneys charge different amounts. Generally speaking, if somebody owes you less than $40,000, I would urge you not to hire my firm. My firm is expensive. My firm, it would not make sense if somebody owes you less than $40,000 for you to hire my firm. Just would be ridiculous. However, I'm from an area of the country where you can get general practice attorneys that are quite cheap. And excuse me, I'm also, in New York, familiar with a number of small claims attorneys who might charge something like a flat rate of $1,000 or $2,000 to handle the entirety of a small claims case. So that should stress to you, like, excuse me again, I'm so sorry. Different firms are going to have different price points of where and when it's reasonable to hire them, right? I'm not saying you should necessarily go to small claims. It might be a good option for you. It might not. But I am saying, like, if you're owed $6,000, you should hire an attorney whose price structure is going to make sense within that context. And then the question goes on. In my situation, it is $6,000 owed. I don't know the best way to to pursue it. Okay, so like in most of the country, in most places, my first piece of advice, if you're owed $6,000, is to consider small claims. To look into your small claims options locally, both as a pro se litigant, representing yourself in small claims, which is very easy to do, or if you feel that you must, hiring a small claims attorney, an attorney with a wealth of experience in the realm of small claims, and hiring that attorney at some affordable flat rate. Because here's the thing about small claims. Often you have multiple appearances. There's a lot of times that small claims arbitrators or judges are going to let people in cases get adjourned 3, 4, 5, 6 times. That's a hassle. It's a much bigger hassle if you're not paying your attorney on a flat rate. If you're paying your attorney to make each and every appearance, you can very quickly pay the attorney more than the case is worth, right? So that's my first piece of advice. I guess it's not. That's one of the pieces of advice I'm offering, but it probably wasn't the first. I think I've said a couple other things. So, listen. Lots of times, we've litigated lots of cases over hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of commissions. Of owed commissions, unpaid wages, unpaid contractually guaranteed bonuses, discretionary bonuses where the discretion was unlawfully exercised, right? Oh, yeah, so if we feel like we give you a bonus, we'll give you a bonus. But we only gave bonuses to white people, right? Like, that happens. And obviously that's worth litigating as well. And you're not limited in those situations to just what's owed. In the case of unpaid wages, you might get treble damage. In the case of unpaid commissions, you might be able to get more than is actually owed because of everything else that went on. In the case of discrimination, you have economic damages, emotional damages, and potentially punitive damages, right? So there's a lot in play. So it's not so simple as like, listen, I'm owed $6,000. Is it worth it? Well, you're owed $6,000, but what else is going on? How did we get here? Are there additional claims in play? Do the claims in play allow for additional damages beyond just what's owed? Right, all things to consider, which is probably why my last piece of advice is to schedule multiple free consultations with attorneys. Now, that might be challenging if you're telling attorneys, hey, I'm owed $6,000. So our intake professionals will absolutely talk to you if you're owed $6,000. You can be like, hey, my employer shorted me a $6,000 bonus that I was contractually guaranteed. And our intake professionals, you'll definitely get past our call center, and our intake professionals will definitely try to give you like resources, links to other attorneys, maybe some of the videos I've made, maybe this video in the future going forward. They might be like, here's the deal, here's kind of what you're dealing with, so like, here's the lay of the land, but we can provide you like some attorneys who do small claims work. What they're not going to provide you is a phone call with me, because they know if it's less than $40,000 owed, we can't help. Not cost effectively. It doesn't make sense for you, it doesn't make sense for us. We throw too many resources, too many hours, too many people at a case for it to be effective for us to collect $6,000. But that's why they have small claims attorneys. That they're like, hey, we can't recommend this person, but some clients have hired this person and then told us that it, went well. And we can do that in New York. We can't do that in every state. California, the insurance company is like, nope, you have liability if you like refer people to that firm, so like don't do it, right? I don't argue. I'm not gonna get in a fight with our insurance company, right? So they're like, you can't refer cases. Okay, I guess. Seems shitty, but okay. So bartender, it's definitely bartender. You have your profile picture is like a Pilsner glass, I think. I hope this helps. I hope I didn't bum you out with the talk of small claims court for your $6,000. I'm not belittling $6,000. $6,000 is real money. I'm just saying you got to be cost effective, and I think you understand that based on your question. You're on top of that concept very, very well. Wish you great success. I wish you collecting every single one of those $6,000, and I hope you get more. I hope you get more because the asshat who didn't pay you should be punished in some way. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Helps the channel to grow. Remember, almost everybody works, but not everybody wins. Be smart out there. Take care, everybody.